Have you ever had a moment with your child where you've stood there thinking, do I just give a consequence right now or do I give support? Yeah, I've been there too, and those moments can shake you. You're trying so hard to be a steady presence, but inside that wave of doubt crashes in. You can almost hear yourself thinking, am I about to make this better or make it worse? If you saw my last two videos, the one about the biggest discipline mistake and the other one about what to do instead, this one connects the dots. It's about those real-time moments when you're not sure what's needed. I'll link those videos below if you want to take a look at those. But today, I want to give you 3 signs that are like flashing lights saying, this isn't a discipline moment, this is a support moment. And I'll walk you through exactly what to do instead. If you're new here, my name is Andrea Pollock, and I'm a parenting educator, coach, and the parent of a young autistic adult. Sign number 1, pressure makes it worse. If adding pressure just makes the whole thing blow up, that's your first sign. Here's what that looks like. You set a limit, you remind them, you warn, and instead of cooperation, your child ramps up. Voice louder, body faster, maybe pacing, maybe tears. If you've got a teen, it might come across as rude or disrespectful, but most of the time, it's just overload. Think about homework as an example, right? You tell your teen to get started, freezes, then he snaps, then slams the door, and now nothing's getting done and everyone's upset. Inside, you're probably thinking, we are never getting to the next grade, are we? At this rate. If you have a younger child, you might say, shoes on now, and you repeat it, then they flop to the floor, you add countdowns and tablet loss, and the screaming just gets louder. And now you're late, and your child still doesn't have shoes on. And inside you're thinking, seriously? This was supposed to be the easy part of the morning. Before we jump into what to try instead, I just want to mention that these are not criticisms of what you're doing now. These are just tools to try that might work better than what you're doing now. It's not a criticism thing. It's designed for your support. So here's something you can try instead. First, slow yourself down. Try a softer tone, calmer body. You can say to your child, let's reset for a second. Let's take a breath with me. Second, you might consider shrinking the ask. So you might say with respect to the homework, let's just open it and see what the first question is. A third thing you can try is swapping time for the task. So instead of saying, let's just do the first 2 problems, because that might seem like overwhelming and very uncertain for your child because they don't know how long those 2 problems are going to take. You might just say instead, let's just try 2 minutes together and see how far we get, see how it feels, and then we'll pause. And here's why you want to use support here and not discipline. Discipline works for won't, but when pressure makes behavior escalate, what you're really seeing is can't. And your own clue, if you feel that rising urge to make it happen, that's the moment to step back for a second. Step back first. And here's how you'll know it worked. Even the smallest shift, a pencil on the paper, eyes on the page, shoes finally near the child or halfway on, that's your sign it was capacity, not willpower. Sign number 2, they can do it with scaffolding, but not without. So here's the second one. If they can only manage when you're right there with scaffolding, that's not laziness, that's load. And here's what it looks like. When you break it into steps or model it or stand nearby, they get through it. The minute you pull back, it all falls apart. It can feel like manipulation sometimes, but it's really about executive function, initiation, and memory. So let's use as an example a middle schooler who won't shower. Parent calls from the hall. Time to shower. Nothing happens. Then you're not going to get screen time if you don't take a shower. Still no shower. And now you've got a power struggle and a stinky teenager. Here's what you could try instead. First, give it a warm start, like an encouraging, I'll help you get going. Second, try breaking it down. You could guide them more carefully through the steps, like, okay, water on. Do you want help with the shampoo? Then offer additional support as needed, whether that's laying out pajamas, brushing through the hair. It can help them get through what feels like a difficult series of tasks. And third, for a similar reason, you could externalize the steps. You could have, for example, a simple checklist or a picture card reminding them the steps to get through it, because that overwhelm of how difficult the whole thing feels might be the thing that stops them from getting started in the beginning. And here's why you want to support here and not discipline. If it only works with scaffolds in place, the problem isn't motivation, it's bandwidth. Scaffolding is how you help those skills grow so that they can eventually be independent. Your internal red flag, that voice that says, well, they did it yesterday, so why not today? Well, maybe yesterday had scaffolds, or maybe yesterday had more energy. And just for the record, we do this too. We've cooked dinner plenty of nights, but sometimes we come home and pizza it is. Same person, different day, different capacity. And the other thought that many of us have is, oh, this is so much work. Shouldn't they be able to do this by now? And you're not wrong. It is a lot of work. But the alternative is 45 minutes of arguing before you still end up helping anyway. And that is way more work. When you scaffold on the front end, you save energy and actually teach skills at the same time. All right, sign number 3. Behavior changes fast when the environment changes. So with this third one, if the behavior flips quickly when you change the environment, you're not looking at defiance, you're looking at nervous system overload. And here's what that looks like. You lower the noise, for example, you step into a quieter room, or you swap scratchy clothes for something comfy, and suddenly the storm calms, right? That quick shift tells you that this was sensory or nervous system overwhelm. So let's use school pickup as an example. Say it's loud and chaotic. Your child is also pretty spent from the whole day, and they snap at you. And you push for a respectful tone, and then they melt down. But if you guide them straight to the car, put on headphones, and give them water, 10 minutes later, they're fine. So if that's the scenario, here's what you could try instead. Remember the phrase, connect before you correct. Making that connection first does help your child, let them borrow your calm. 2 is change the scene. You might say, let's sit in the car for a minute before we talk. And 3rd, offer a tool. Maybe it's headphones, a snack, a fidget. And when you're doing that, you want to hold the words. Give them 60 to 90 seconds of quiet before you start explaining or asking questions. Here's why you want to support here and not discipline. If the whole situation changes in a few minutes with a small tweak, it was state, not attitude. So meet the state first, and the cooperation comes after. So if you remember nothing else, remember these 3 signs your child needs support, not discipline. 1, pressure makes it worse. 2, they only succeeded with scaffolding. And 3, a quick environment change flips the behavior. When you see one of those, lean into support. Now you might be thinking, if I keep supporting like this, am I being too soft? Am I letting them get away with things? Am I being too indulgent? I get it. Discipline feels concrete. You give a consequence and you can point to it and say, look, I took action. Support can feel fuzzier, like you're not doing enough. But here's the truth. You're not removing the boundary. You're just changing the path that your child takes to get there. It's like saying, I'll make the road walkable, but we're still going to get to that same destination. Whether it's homework, shower, cleaning up a mess, those things still happen. But with support, your child actually gets there instead of falling apart along the way. And as their skills grow, you can shorten that path. I say this to my coaching clients all the time. Hold the boundary, change the path. It's not giving in, that's leadership. So let me make this concrete with a few everyday examples. So for homework, sit nearby, open the assignment together, agree on one step, use a short timer, and end while you're both still calm. For mornings, post a visual checklist, give 1 cue at a time, keep shoes by the door, build in a 5-minute buffer, meaning an extra 5 minutes of getting ready. For errands, keep the list short. Prep your child on what's coming. Bring a sensory kit like headphones, a snack, or a fidget. For bedtime, stick to the same sequence each night. Build in one connecting moment like reading or a back rub, and start dimming lights 30 minutes before bed. These small shifts take less energy than fighting, and they teach skills over time. I'm not saying this is a magic cure. Some of these issues are much bigger issues, but these are places to look for solutions. Remember, there are 3 clear signs it's time to support and not discipline. If pressure makes it worse, if they only succeed with scaffolding, and if a quick environment change flips the behavior. When you see one of those, you've got your answer. It's a support moment. And here's the part I want you to really hear. You don't have to be perfect or certain in every moment. None of us are. What matters is that you pause, notice the sign, and choose support while still holding the boundary. That's leadership. That's parenting with confidence. If you want to go deeper or tailor this to your child, that's exactly what we do in my coaching program, where I walk you through step by step so you'll always know your exact next move. And if this video helps you, I hope you'll consider giving it a like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and please share it with another parent who could use a calmer day today. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.